Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another replay, this time featuring FoulPlay in the top right corner, playing our red Protoss, and in the bottom left we have PANsatyrLedr playing our blue Terran. Both players are in bronze. We are on Entombed Valley, and that's basically the long and short of it. Entombed Valley's been around for quite a while. You've got a very nice and comfortable natural, the base of a very small ramp leading off to an enormous ramp into the common ground. It's kind of divvied up by this very small chasm. Doesn't really do much. Can't really use it if you're Protoss, because the Zerglings will literally run around it in a matter of seconds. But the it's nice just to kind of snug up your siege tanks in the little gaps. Maybe if you can keep your Colossi there, it'll buy you a couple more seconds, which is really all you need to make some massive damage. But it's as far as obstructions go, it's on the small side of things. Destructible debris divide the third and the natural. The third sitting down kind of on the south side, really tucked away, no other way in besides that destructible debris pathway and a moderate sized ramp down into the common ground. And it's right next to the fourth, which sometimes is a high yield. I think maybe these are the high yields. I don't even know. So the first supply depot goes down. Pan's got enough money to drop down that other racks. He's also got gas coming up. Maybe some early tech out of Pan. FoulPlay has saved up quite a lot of money, almost 300 already with just that single pylon down. He's got 2 scouting probes out. I don't know if that's because he really wants to make sure he finds Pan's base. He's got enough money to drop down an expansion, but to go Nexus first is kind of suicidal. It's more likely that he's going to drop a proxy pylon and do a proxy gateway, or maybe some shenanigans with a forge. So there goes the forge. Has a cannon rush coming out, I suppose, but he really needs to get that. It's too late to get that probe in. He's scouting in the wrong direction both times. If he had scouted correctly, he could have snuck his probe in, but as things are now, the wall off is complete and that probe is shafted on the outside. I don't know why he dropped so many pylons on the low ground though. Like 4 of them total. That's just a lot of money that's wasted. And then this is scouted instantly. I mean, he knows exactly what the pylons are there for. The first photon cannon going down, it's going to finish just a little while after the first Marine, but that Marine's not going to be able to deny both of these photon cannons going up. But even if it is, with the placement, FoulPlay is not going to be able to see up the ramp to do any damage to the Marines. So the Marine's just going to be able to fire down with impunity. Photon cannon just now finishing, but that pylon is within range and the Marine is out of range, so FoulPlay's in trouble. He could use this as a delaying tactic. He could grab his own expansion with pretty much ease, but PANsatyrLedr can just tech up to whatever he wants to do, which is evidently grab another racks and throw a tech lab down on the racks that's already existing. Gas is beginning to pile up for Pan. He's got 200, over 400 for the minerals. I would expect that Pan's just going to build another command center, get another orbital up so that he can float it off, maybe even float it off into the third where he can drop mules, get it a little bit extra income with minimal risk to himself. Decides on the stim pack instead though. 2 Marines, more than a match for a couple of photon cannons that they can't see. Pan has a SCV in the main base. We can see that the SCV worker count is pretty much neck and neck, but it's because FoulPlay is not spending any of his chrono boosts on getting any of his probes, and with that the income actually is heavily in Pan's favor because of those mules that he can drop. We're just now beginning to drop them. Poor FoulPlay. This is really effective if you can get your probe in, but scouting the wrong direction both times really doesn't help. This is a wall that's going to be tough for Pan to break out, but all he really has to do is get a couple medevacs and he can ferry his army around without even having to deal with that. And then with the third so close, he doesn't really have to worry about that either. That's what he needs to do, I guess, is get the probe to the top of the ramp. He might be able to find a sweet spot where only a couple of Marines can fire at it, and with the shields recharging so quickly, he'll be able to do some damage, but it's never going to be enough to take down the supply depot. Oh, some miscontrol from the first probe. Now he's got to rely on probe number 2. That pylon's going to go down, but he's got another one on the way, and then the other newer pylon is kind of in the north side of the Ibigandscary line. I don't know how to pronounce that. but it's going to be a little bit more protected throwing down a Nexus because he's just got the money. Speaking of money, Pan's got a ridiculous amount. He's only making stuff off of the 1 racks, but he's got 3. Nothing made out of the 2nd racks. A lot of Marauders coming out. Marauders are going to be able to break this no problem. Okay. So, yep, tanks, great call. Siege tanks are going to be able to just bombard this. Where is the factory being built? Is it a proxy? It is a wow, look at that. Pan getting a proxy factory down on the low ground. Maybe going to do a run by because the forge is kind of misplaced. You could squeeze through units on either side of it. FoulPlay is probably going to be thinking about completing that wall off. I really don't understand the Nexus. I don't understand the Nexus at all. Maybe he just wants to make more probes so that he can continue the harassment. 2 new photon cannons going up on the north side, which will actually play against the siege tanks that I guess are going to be built for Pan. Build them a supply depot out there too. But I think maybe the tech lab is going to be used for reactor Hellions. The reactor will come later. The tech lab is going to be used for Blue Flame. I think that'd be more effective because there's nothing up here to defend this probe line. He could cut off FoulPlay's economy in one fell swoop. But more likely, Pan's thinking about getting some siege tanks once he has the money. 150, and how much does he need to research? 101. So he's got enough money to start. I don't know what the delay is about. Maybe he's just thinking about further down the line getting that command center out. There goes siege tech. Okay, siege tech and that first siege tank. That's going to be able to break that wall down on the home pretty easily. So that's a good call. He could even think about lifting off his barracks, positioning them off into the 3rd, start cranking out units there to support the barracks. But with an army like this, he could probably stem and take out at least the majority of these photon cannons. And then once he took out these 2, he could just run off into the Nexus. Which, does he know about the Nexus? He should. Yeah, he does. Starport also being built. Oh my goodness, Pan. He's so clever. So he's got the starport too. I would have thought that building that in the main would be better, just because the thing that's going to be coming out of it are going to be medevacs, hopefully. And those medevacs are going to be incredibly important in keeping these guys alive. Oh, and there goes the push. Very successful, taking down 2 of those photon cannons and then wiping out all of the harvester count. Bringing it back down to 20. Be careful to take down any of the photon cannons that are being built. 4 of them on the way. Not really focusing down the appropriate structures, but that Nexus is definitely going to fall because the majority of the photon cannons aren't within range. So you can see siege tank tech is done. Another one is on the way. Once those guys get out, then this whole place is going to be useless. Got to be careful about those photon cannons. Running into the photon cannons on the north side, Pan reveals his siege tank, and he's just going to start focusing down these structures. Just be careful with these. There's every single one of those units, those ground units that get lost here is totally pointless, because the siege tanks are going to be able to take this down, and without them to scout on the high ground, then this siege tank's not going to be as successful, not as effective. But he's got more on the way. He's got plenty of money to spare. What is he going to do with the CC? I don't think he's comfortable enough to transition over to the 3rd. FoulPlay, though, is taking quite a beating on the harvester count. He's back down to 20, and with the map control that he had, you'd expect him to be probably twice that much. I think what Pan needs to do is position so he can take down this pylon, because that's all that's really powering these guys. And then whenever he gets his tanks right around here, he'll be able to hit every single one of the pylons that kind of give these guys range. Another thing he could do is lift off the factory to scout the high ground, position it right over the tanks. But that's another one of those outside the box plays. Something else is he could do is just build something from the starport to give him high ground. But slowly but surely he's going to be pounding down this front door, and FoulPlay is in a lot of trouble. I mean, 44 to 20 supply. It's pretty awful. Less units than I thought there would be as far as probe count goes. You'd think he's not expending any of his chrono on any of his probes. His saturation's okay, but he needs more. He needs another Nexus is what he needs. Yeah. Alright, so Pan taking down that front door. I would recommend focusing down the 3 pylons, which would make these guys into very decorative trees. But it looks like he's just letting the AI do its work. He's got that medevac on the way. Little push from the Marauders, staying up on that high ground. You see that they can't, even though they know they're getting hit, those guys were invulnerable because nothing was scouting them. Oh boy. Sorry, FoulPlay. His heart was in the right place. Cheese like that can be incredibly effective, but Pan got his wall off because FoulPlay scouted to the top left and the bottom right before he scouted the correct base, and because of that the wall off was done, and so was FoulPlay. And Pan didn't panic. He followed down the build he wanted to do. I hope this is normally what he does, the 2 tech lab. It could not be, but the Marauders are very effective against photon cannons. Another thing that's pretty effective are Reapers with their ability to destroy structures like no one else's business. Hey guys, that's it for me. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or Reddit. If you have a comment, you could post it below. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary. Bye.